Hello and welcome to BlueTube, where we talk all things blue, and it has been a while, guys. I apologize for my lack of uploads, and I always say the same thing, I've just been really busy, but let's forget about that. Let's get straight to the transfer news today, and today is going to be packed with lots of stories. Today we begin with our center backs, and as you guys know, since the beginning of July actually, or even before the transfer window opened, we've been linked with one center back in particular, and his name is Kalidou Koulibaly, and he's the French defender currently playing for Napoli. He's 25 years old, and I actually made an entire video dedicated to him versus Christensen versus Manolas, just discussing our center back options and what we could do. I highly recommend that if you guys haven't watched that yet. But now, it seems this is very, very recent. By the 27th of July, this article is dated, so that's probably around 2 or 3 days from when this video was uploaded. Apparently Chelsea have made an improved offer of £38 million for Koulibaly. I think we've made an offer for £32 million in the past and got that rejected, which is why we bumped it up. And we're actually facing competition from Everton as well, which is why the price is going up and up and up. Initially, I think the rumored fee was around £30 million to seal the deal, but now the price is starting to edge up. And if you guys read the article here, by the way, all these articles linked in the description below, as with any Transfer Talk episode, it actually says Arsenal have looked at Koulibaly, but believe he is overpriced. And I hate to agree with Arsenal here, but I agree with them. I think it's a little bit overpriced. Basically £40 million for a center back who's had 1 or 2 good seasons for Napoli, who hasn't really proved himself in Europe to be a great player, and who hasn't really had that much international experience as well. So I think that is a bit overpriced, to be honest. But with the current market, I honestly, and I genuinely mean this, I honestly don't know what players are worth anymore. But this is a deal that I would not make. In just a little bit later, after our next story, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I think we should do with our center backs, because I've had time to think about it since I made that Christensen video, and I'll discuss it in a bit. This is something that's happening. It's not confirmed whether it's been accepted or rejected. I hope that it's going to be rejected, and I'll get into that in a bit. The second story of today is that Chelsea are eyeing Torino center back, who is a lot cheaper, £18.5 million, as it says there, and his name is Nicola Maximovich. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about him. The first time that I heard about him was when he appeared, in a headline alongside Chelsea. So, I had a look at him on FIFA, as that's like what I do first of all, and then have a look at a few of his highlights. Seems like a decent defender, but I don't know why we would go for him, considering the options that we have. And I will go more deeper into that after, our next story. What is that? This is something that's happening. This is very recent, by the way. This last updated 28th of July, so it's very recent as well. To be honest, I don't think this is going to happen, because in terms of center backs, Chelsea have been linked with so many players over the summer. First, it began with Bonucci, and then, Koulibaly, that's kind of been dragging on for a while. And then we're linked with Manolas, and then, no one even knows who Manolas is anymore, because everyone stopped talking about him. Now it's on Maximovich, and, there's just players and players. I personally don't think we are going to buy a center back this summer transfer window. And I don't think we should buy a center back this transfer window. And I'll talk about that right after this next story. Andreas Christensen, yes, this is a story about him. I made a video dedicated to him, like I said earlier in this video, and apparently Mönchengladbach have made an 18 million, and let me just get this perfectly ironed out, 18.8 million pound bid for Andreas Christensen. If you guys know, Christensen's actually on loan to Gladbach right now. He actually went on loan last season on a 2-year loan, which means his loan will end at the end of the 16-17 campaign. On his first season so far at Gladbach, he has won Player of the Season for Gladbach, which for a center back on loan who is 19 years old is a pretty incredible achievement. Understandably, Mönchengladbach want to capitalize on that. They want to buy in. They want to bring in their best player of the season. Chelsea, I think, previously, before a few weeks ago, Gladbach actually made another bid, around £13 million, I think, or £15 million, and then Chelsea rejected that. And I fully expect Chelsea to reject this bid, because I think Christensen is a really, really up-and-coming talent. He's an up-and-coming center back. And now, that brings me to talk about our center backs. In my Christensen versus Manolas versus Koulibaly video, I sparked a lot of interesting conversation with you guys, which was the aim of the video, and I'm glad that you guys, you guys really thought about it and gave some really constructive ideas. I thought about it a lot as well, and I have concluded this. I don't think Chelsea should buy another center back this season, and these are my reasons why. Currently, our center back roster, or that doesn't sound very American. It's our center backs are John Terry, Gary Cahill, Kurt Zouma. Is that it? No, there's like another guy. I'm gonna be ignoring like Matt Biazga, Papi Gilabojli. By the way, I'm just gonna be ignoring them, guys. I don't think. I mean, they're probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out on loan actually, but I'm just gonna be ignoring them. So we have Zouma, Cahill, Terry, which is what we had last season, and I think this season a big kind of shift or transition we should make is we should move Ivanovic to play as a center back. That is my kind of vision for the squad. Because if Ivanovic moves to the center back, we have enough cover for the center backs. And you guys have to remember, we're not playing Champions League football, so we don't need incredible quality and depth. I think this is enough quality and enough depth, to be honest, just for playing League Cup, FA Cup, and Premier League. And by the way, an interesting rule in the FA Cup from now on, in extra time, teams are allowed to bring on a fourth substitute, and that should allow for a little bit more team we don't need as much of depth, and if that's the competition that we're going to be targeting. That's just a random fact that I just thought I'd get out there, guys. But that should be really interesting to see. But anyway, so we should have these 4 center backs, because that means if Terry gets injured, then we have 3 other center backs to fill in 2 positions. And by the way, it seems like a 4-4-2 is what we're going to be playing. Even Oscar said publicly that's the formation we're practicing. In preseason, we've been messing around with a ton of different formations. I honestly don't know what we're going to do. We played a 4-4-2 in our second game against someone, which we won 3-0, I think. Rapid Vienna was our first game. I can't remember the team name, guys. And then against Liverpool, we played a weird formation, like a 4-5-1-ish, or like a 4-2-3-1, with Ruben Loftus-Cheek as our only striker, which was weird to see as well. So Conte is still thinking things out, ironing things out. It seems like we're going to go for a 4-4-2, or at least a 4-back as a whole, because we've only been playing 4-back formations so far. So, I guess, so in that kind of scenario, we only need 2 center backs in the first team. So I think Terry, Zouma, Cahill, and Ivanovic is sufficient. But now you are asking me, if we put Ivanovic to center back, who do we play as our fullbacks? And here is my answer to that. I do not think we need to buy another fullback this season. And you guys are thinking, what? Because you guys are thinking, we only have Azpilicueta and Baba Rahman. That's it. And we need 1 left back, 1 right back. Baba Rahman left back, Azpilicueta right back. That's not deep at all. If one of them gets injured or yellow, red carded, then we're kind of screwed. But this preseason, I have been incredibly impressed by Ola Aina. He is a youngster from our academy. He's a right back. I mean, he is just. I have loved watching him play. I think of course he's a young player. He hasn't had that much first team experience, if any. I think he has had a few games last season, but he is a bit naive. His decision making, his passing, his control over the ball, that could improve definitely. But I do think he is good enough to play in the Premier League. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And he seems like an incredibly promising player, and he has shown that this preseason, and he's shown that in the past as well, to be honest. I think this is a good opportunity to give him that opportunity. So that would mean that we would have Azpilicueta at left back, right back, Baba Rahman the left back in the first team, and then we would have Ola Aina as a substitute who can fill in. If let's say Baba Rahman gets injured, then we shift Azpilicueta to the right, then we put on Ola Aina. If Baba Rahman gets injured, if Azpilicueta gets injured, we keep Rahman at the right, and then we play Ola Aina. And it's a great, mix and match system. The thing is, because Azpilicueta can play left back and right back equally awesomely, that makes for great, kind of versatility, and we can have, all these different players come in. And I think that would be the plan that I go for. And you guys may be thinking that's a bit risky, but I think this is a season to take that kind of risk, solely because we're not playing Champions League football. I think it's a great opportunity to kind of give Ola Aina that stepping stone to get into that first team. And to be honest, guys, I think Ola Aina could be better than Baba Rahman. And if that happens to be the case, in the first team, we could actually have Azpilicueta at left back, with Ola Aina in the right back, with Baba Rahman in the substitute. And I think that is a highly likely situations, just seeing by how good Olena has been. So that would be my plan for the defense, guys. I would buy nobody. I would be quite, financially conservative. That sounds very political. But guys, that would be my plan. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. I know a lot of you are eyeing all of these different left backs and right backs. Tell me your reasons for why you want that, or if you agree with me. Tell me what you would do with Ivanovic. I do not think he is good enough to be a fullback now. I am absolutely convinced he is not good enough to be a right back. He is just not fast enough. His positioning is slightly off, and he just makes us way too vulnerable for my liking. So guys, that is my opinions. Tell me right there, right now, or not right now, after the video ends. Let's talk about our midfielders a little bit. Or not. Let's talk about our strikers a little bit. Antonio Conte has a great desire to bring in Alvaro Morata, and that's been shown throughout this entire summer. We've been pursuing him, making bids, and this story has been kind of going on since the beginning of July as well, and it seems to be going on continuously. £67 million. Apparently that's the kind of bid that we are preparing. We haven't actually tabled the offer yet. I think that's a bit too much. £67 million for Alvaro Morata. And by the way, there's no guarantee it's going to be accepted because Real Madrid are very keen on keeping Morata, apparently. Apparently he's a big part of their plans for the upcoming season. So we don't even know if this is going to be accepted. The thing is, we're not really linked with any other strikers, and that kind of worries me. We only have a month to go of the transfer window left. And we only have like a week or just less than 2 weeks, I think. Or maybe just 2 weeks. I don't even, around 2 weeks until the Premier League season starts as well. So guys, that kind of worries me that we're not being linked with, a lot of other strikers. I will talk about Gabrielle Barbosa in the next story, but we're not being linked with high profile world-class strikers, which is the type of player that I think we need. A lot of you, I've talked to a lot of you guys in the comment section about whether Batshuayi is good enough to be our first team striker. A lot of you say, he should be our first team striker. We should be bringing up players like Tammy Abraham, Solanke, and the substitutes to give youth a role. And that's kind of what I've done with Ola Aina, but I don't think we should do that with our strike force, because one area that Chelsea have kind of lacked in the last few seasons is goals and players who can make impact. And that's the kind of player that we need, and which is why in the transfer wishes video in my series, about a month ago, I said that we're going to need to buy 2 strikers. One of which is Michy Batshuayi, which I'm really glad that we bought, but we need to keep him as a substitute and buy another world-class striker. And could that be Morata? I don't know. I suggested Aubameyang. We're not being linked with him. We're not being linked with any kind of striker. We're not being linked with Lacazette. We're not being linked with, just any world-class striker other than Morata. And even Morata, I think it's overpriced. I think he's overhyped. And I don't think he's going to leave Real Madrid this summer. That is just my personal opinion on that, guys. So, that story's going on. Tell me what you think about Morata. Is he worth this? Would you, in fact, bring in another striker? Or would you give that first team role to Batshuayi and kind of give our young players an opportunity to rise up? Tell me your thoughts on the strike force as well in the comment section down below. Our next story, as I said, is about... No, it's not. Oh, this is interesting. I forgot to mention this. Carlos Tevez. You guys may have seen this on, Facebook or something. This is where I saw it. It just popped up on my Facebook wall. Apparently, Carlos Tevez has been contacted by Antonio Conte. If you guys remember, Tevez is the guy who used to play for United, then City, then Juventus. And when he went to Juventus, he actually played under Antonio Conte. And he was really, really good at Juventus. And he has a great relationship with Conte. So Conte called him up, said, hey, we need an experienced striker like you. He's like 31 years old, I think. I can't see it here, but I think he's around 31 years old, so he's quite old. He plays for Boca Juniors currently, who is a team in Argentina. And then Conte said, we need a leader like you. And I think that's absolutely true. We need a leader, experienced player. Because our team and our squad as a whole is an incredibly young squad right now. In the end, Tevez said, I'm happy with life in Argentina, and I don't see a move to Chelsea happening. But, apparently Chelsea, or Conte is thinking about offering a 1-year contract nonetheless, just to see how he reacts. And I think this could be a very interesting move. To be honest, I haven't watched much of Tevez in the last few years, or the last few seasons, so I don't really know how good he is. I don't know if, all of his spark is completely gone, or if he's still, the beast that he once was. But the fact that Conte is looking at him and has actually reached out and bothered to contact him, I think that shows that he is a decent player. Conte probably, has watched a lot of tapes of him before making any of these actions. So I trust Conte that he's still, a great player. And I think that, he could be a really good signing. He's not the world-class striker that I'm continuously talking about. But I think that he could add a lot to our team. And I would not be unhappy if we just bought in Tevez and we didn't buy in someone, like Aubameyang. I would be happy with the strike force of Diego Costa, Carlos Tevez, Michy Batshuayi, and Bertrand Traore. I'd be quite happy with that strike force, assuming that we're going to play 2 strikers, of course. So that's my opinions on that, guys. To be honest, guys, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen because Carlos Tevez, he has made it quite, a public that, he's happy in Argentina and he doesn't see a move to Chelsea happening. But it is an interesting story that popped up, kind of just came out of the blue. It's interesting to read. So yeah, there's that story as well. And of course, as promised, Gabrielle Barbosa. He's also known as Gabigol. Maybe that's the name that you've heard. But he is a Brazilian striker, a youngster. He's like 19 years old, plays for Santos. He's been linked with Chelsea for like about a month. Especially near the beginning of July, he's been linked with Chelsea. So that was interesting. But a kind of an offer never really materialized, and that kind of died away. And then there hasn't really been any talk of him linking him to Chelsea for the last 2 weeks. But then, this week, 26th of July, apparently Juventus have agreed a deal with Gabrielle Barbosa for around £16.8 million. And that's interesting, because if you look at some of the earlier reports of him being linked with Chelsea around 2 weeks ago, there was like a rumored £25 million bid by Chelsea. So the fact that a £16.8 million bid was accepted, it's kind of weird to me. So I don't really know what's really going on. But apparently that happened. Apparently his heart is set on Juventus, according to his agent. So I think that this deal will probably go through. I think he will eventually go to Juventus. I don't think he's gonna come to Chelsea. And I remember a few of you telling me that we should go for Barbosa. He's a great player. He's a great youngster. I don't think that's the right move to happen, because we have great youngsters in our team already. If we're gonna go out and spend £20 million on a 19-year-old striker, why don't we instead look to our academy and look at Tammy Abraham, Islam Feruz, Dominic Solanke, Patrick Bamford. Whatever happened to Patrick Bamford, by the way, guys? Just please, feel free to tell me. I remember him winning the championship player of the season like 2 seasons ago, and then he moved to Crystal Palace last season, I think, and on loan, and now no one knows him anymore. And then of course we have Bertrand Traore in the first team. Apparently, and Antonio Conte is thinking of playing Loftus-Cheek as a striker as well. In fact, against Liverpool, as I said, he played Loftus-Cheek as our sole striker. It did not work out. It was not pretty, in my opinion. I don't think he is suited for a striker role. Conte is just trying things out. I don't blame him. He just wants to find out the best areas for each player. But I hope that Loftus-Cheek can be moved back to a central midfield role, because he not only adds that kind of tactical flexibility and stability, but also that depth that we need in that central midfield area. But guys, Barbosa doesn't seem like it's going to happen for us. It seems like it's going to happen for Juventus in terms of our strikers. So other than that, there's not really anything happening in terms of strikers. This transfer window has been relatively quiet, and I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't really felt that urge to make transfer window. Because like last year, there were so many rumors, and every single day, no matter how tired I was, no matter what the time was, I would always kind of drag myself over here and talk about whatever's going on, because there was a new player every single day. This transfer window, it's going a lot more slowly, which kind of fits me a lot better, because I've been a lot busier this summer. I don't want to go into that, but it's kind of been better for me because it's moving slightly slower. So yeah, but hopefully, we are linked with a world-class striker before this transfer window ends. I would be incredibly happy with Lacazette, or maybe Jamie Vardy, or Aubameyang. Any of those three given to me, I would be incredibly happy, guys. Apparently, by the way, Lacazette has turned down a move to Arsenal. No surprise there. No one really wants to go to Arsenal. So, come to Chelsea. Lacazette, if you're watching this, our arms are wide open for you. Let me just check if that is the last story, guys. There is one more story before the end. I almost forgot this. Bertrand Traore is a striker that we have. He's a very, very young, promising player from Burkina Faso. I'm sure you guys know him. And this is an interesting kind of cycle that's going on. So basically, if you guys have been keeping your eye open in the last week or so, Gonzalo Higuain has moved from Napoli to Juventus in like a £70 million move, which that is a story on its own. I think that is the most overpriced bid in the history of bids. £70 million. I don't know if he's really worth that, to be honest. But that happened. That is a thing that actually happened. But actually, no, this story goes way back. In the beginning of the summer, Morata moved from Juventus to Real Madrid. Last week, or this week, Higuain moved from Napoli to Juventus. And now, Napoli are looking to buy, what is his name? Arek Milik, or Milik, I think, from Ajax. Now, Ajax want a striker, and they are looking to loan in Bertrand Traore. And then Chelsea are looking to bring in Morata from Real Madrid. You see how the cycle goes, how interesting football works. It's very, very intriguing to me. But guys, apparently Ajax are very interested in bringing in Bertrand Traore on loan. I don't think this deal is going to happen. I don't think Chelsea fans or the Chelsea manager wants it to happen, because he is a big part of our future going forwards now. And we really want to give him the opportunity to really break into that first team, to take the Premier League by storm, to get in a few goals, maybe get over 5-10 goals this season. That would be incredible. So I think Bertrand Traore is almost definitely, in fact, he is definitely going to stay, in my opinion. I don't think this is going to happen, but it is interesting to see how the cycle is kind of perpetuating. But guys, hopefully that's the end of this. Yeah, that is the end of the transfer talk for today, guys. Just before I go, I want to just mention one thing, just for those of you that are still here, which is probably like 10 guys, but for you 10 guys watching, comment down below yes or no to this question. Would you be interested in joining a fantasy Premier League that I create? Like a Bluetooth fans league, if that makes sense. I actually tried to make one last season. Nobody joined, but the main reason for that, I think, is I have like 20 subscribers when I made it. Now I feel like I have more viewers, more interactive viewer, more intrigued, more kind of involved viewers. So I would love to make a fantasy Premier League with you guys. So hopefully you guys are interested in it as well. For those of you that are still watching the video, please comment down below if you would be interested in participating in a Bluetooth fans fantasy Premier League. But guys, that wraps up the transfer talk for today. As always, guys, I'm sorry for the lack of uploads. I really, really am trying. Just please know that. And I really try to respond to every single comment, but time is suffocating me. But guys, yeah, I'm just gonna stop complaining about life and be happy. Let's be happy, guys. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, stay blue.